Hi, and welcome to episode 9 of CultureWatch Radio. I'm Andrew Smith, and with me is Bill Muhlenberg. Well, it's been another busy week in Australia with the battle for marriage. What's been happening, Bill?
Yes, Andrew, it's been an amazing week. In fact, couple of weeks, 3 or 4 pretty heavy-duty things happening all at once. Obviously, some political decisions that have been made on homosexual marriage. A lot of prayer effort going into all this. The church is finally waking up a little bit. A number of overseas speakers that have been making a real impact here in Australia in the past 10 days or so. And finally, some even amazing things happening in the media. Even our ABC, believe it or not, has had some almost miraculous things. So it's been quite a couple of weeks.
Bill, who are these speakers that have been coming over?
Yes, we've had a few of the experts really in the family movement from overseas. We had a Canadian gal, Dawn Stefanowicz, who was raised in a homosexual household. She's written a whole book about a rather sad story. So she was brought out last week and made a number of appearances, giving the side of the story that, well, the media just doesn't want to hear about. These are the real forgotten people, you know, the ones that are not supposed to exist, those who really were not happy at all and suffered greatly as a result of homosexual parenting. Another similar story from America, Katie Faust, a gal raised by 2 lesbians. She's had quite an amazing story to tell on a number of media outlets. And still here for at least a few more days, Dr. Ryan Anderson from the U.S. He's written several books on the meaning of marriage and really is one of our key defenders of marriage and the ones warning about what same-sex marriage will do, especially to religious freedom.
You've got to ask, what accounts for some of these victories? Is it prayer? Is it hard work? Let's talk to Warwick Marsh, who's behind such events as the National Day of Prayer and Fasting in the Australian capital of Canberra.
I've been really amazed in this last couple of weeks as we've seen victory after victory, and it's all come about straight after 21 days of prayer and fasting for a miracle. First, Monday the 10th, we saw flowers delivered, and it looked pretty perilous whether they'd actually be received, but Bob Day stepped in, and those flowers are put in the front lawn, ultimately given to all the members of the Parliament who were standing for marriage, and their impression was felt. There was a full-page ad in the Australian, which was not censored, thank God, and it was very, very factual, and it featured Katie Faust and Millie Fontana from Melbourne sharing their story among many, many others. The coalition vote on the Tuesday, the 11th of August, was absolutely staggering. It was supposed to be very, very close, maybe 55 to 45 or thereabouts, and of course it could have gone either way. But miraculously, the vote turned for marriage 66 to 33. How amazing is that? Again, prayer makes a difference. Katie Faust then appeared on Late Line on Wednesday night. It became the most watched Late Line interview, I think, of all time, and it was amazing. Then the Uluru Bark petition with Indigenous leaders stepped up to the plate and released that right across the nation. And it was seen in the Friday's Australian, a full-page ad. Monday, Media Watch castigated the left-wing elite for not allowing debate and not allowing proper discussion. And then Katie Faust with Brendan O'Neill, who's an atheist and a Marxist, really hit the ball right out of the ballpark, especially Brendan, and he really spoke up for people of faith, even though he's not himself a person of faith. He certainly showed more common sense than most Christians and more equilibrium and more mental foresight about what's really happening with our society. And it was a real sea change and a real shift, and we're very, very excited.
One of the speakers we heard just last night, along with Ryan Anderson, was Millie Fontana. She's got an amazing story. She shared about 10 minutes of her testimony last night, and she got a standing ovation, even more than Ryan Anderson. She's a 23-year-old who grew up in a homosexual household, and boy, what an amazing story. Warwick, you know more about her.
Yes, there's a young lady from Melbourne, and her name is Millie Fontana. She put a YouTube clip up about 3 or 4 months ago on YouTube, and she was brought up by 2 homosexual women, and it was a test tube baby, and she really suffered deeply from father hunger, and she was desperate to see her father, and ultimately she did, and she's on her road to recovery, but she's passionate for the rights of children to have a mother and a father and not be deprived of either. And she's been speaking out in the Parliament. She's been speaking out, obviously, on YouTube and in social media. And I think on this Thursday just gone, she's spoken out to a standing ovation in Melbourne. And, of course, it's totally amazing. A beautiful young lady, 23 years of age, with a lot of fire and a lot of vim and vigour, and want to make a real difference for the children of Australia. So it's very, very exciting to see these new voices enter the fray and to speak up for the children of Australia, and I'm very, very excited. It's a miracle. 21 days of prayer and fasting. Things happen when people pray.
So how sudden had the change been, and how much can you absolutely, definitively tie it back to prayer?
Well, look, it's very, very hard to be absolutely with everything in this sort of realm, but certainly I've never, ever seen so many, one after another, amazing miracles, amazing opportunities, and where the media actually, of course, I didn't mention the fact that the MediaWatch actually attacked the media itself for their bias, and that's never happened before to my knowledge in this area of homosexual marriage debate. And it's just been staggering. It's amazing. I woke up on Tuesday morning after seeing all this. I was in the green room to see this and witness it backstage at the ABC. I was just amazed that how things had turned around so quickly in a matter of 8 or 9 days, straight after 21 days of prayer and fasting. What an amazing coincidence. And really, I think it is a miracle of prayer, because we have tried so very hard to speak up in the past, but we've been shut down. And of course, the media themselves and even non-Christian people were speaking up for truth, for life, for our children, and it was an extraordinary miracle. And that's all I can say. I do believe it's a miracle, and you have to make your own judgment.
Thanks, Warwick. Bill, what's the task at hand now? What do we need to do?
Well, as we just heard, we need to keep doing both things simultaneously. We need to pray like never before, and we need to work like never before. As Warwick has suggested, one without the other is not enough. Prayer obviously moves the heavenlies, but we got to put feet to our prayers as well. We have to do stuff. We have to contact politicians. We have to learn ourselves what are some of the answers on these vital questions that we can share in the public arena. We have to write letters to the editor. We have to get involved, attend rallies, read the books, support those who are fighting the good fight. So it always has to be this combination: praying, fasting, spiritual warfare, absolutely essential. But of course, we have to supplement that with as much work and activity as we can. The other side is fully aware of keeping the pressure up. War of attrition, just keep going at it and at it and at it. So we have to have the same attitude. This battle is not going to go away. We have to keep constantly in the battle ourselves, buttressed by prayer, obviously, but doing all we can. And together, with that combination, I think we can see more exciting victories. We may not win every battle, but we know at the end we certainly do win the war.
As always, more information is available at CultureWatch, and we'll see you again next week with another episode of CultureWatch Radio.